Alright, so I just watched one of Christian's vlogs from like 2 months back. We went to go see Winchester, and he briefly mentioned, like, kind of a joke I made about how there's no real ghosts in the movie. They're all just crazy people who are all independently crazy, believing in the same thing because they're all crazy equally. And I've been thinking about it a bit more, and it actually would have been a better ending, or even like one of those like, oh, too spooky for me fan theories or whatever, creepypasta, whatever it is. But it does make a lot of sense that they would all be crazy. I mean, the old lady pictured here, she like could have like dementia. She's grief stricken with her husband's death, and uh, the guilt she feels for being involved in all the deaths. Um, the kid could be all crazy because he has undiagnosed mental issues, his problems with his father dying and stuff. The mother could be, basket case panicking all crazy because her son's flipping out because she's that, and her mother's flipping out because she's crazy. So just kind of buys into it. The doctor guy, he could be crazy because he's addicted to like poisonous tonic and is grief stricken from his wife's death. And everybody's just independently crazy. And I think that'd be a really good horror movie, where it, every it'd be very very logical to assume that everybody was actually just crazy the whole time. And I think like if it turns like well, how do I put it? It has to be in a way that it doesn't come out of nowhere like, oh, there wasn't monsters all along, because that's just stupid. If it was like they genuinely believed there was monsters or zombies or ghosts or whatever kind of nonsense was going on, but they just genuinely believed it because they're all crazy or delusional or on drugs or mind altering substances. It'd be such a cool and unique like movie. They were never the only real danger was the ones they put themselves in. Maybe have like a movie where it's like an apartment building's haunted, but it's really just a gas leak, and everybody's getting infected by like radon gas or something like that. So everybody's gone all loopy. Um, could have like a really like somber ending. Like, yeah, listen, this is like it's infinitely more scarier because the idea of a bunch of people going crazy, seeing things that aren't there. I mean, it has happened in history. Like, look at the Salem witch trials, which we're talking about in English class. Um, and it was just a bunch of people who. Now, the extent of which they believed was true is really up for debate because a lot of people would have gained a lot of power and influence and all that kind of nonsense through it, but like if a lot of people, I'd imagine, generally believe that there was witches. Like, take Reverend John Hale for example. He's all like, oh man, there's witches everywhere. Look at this girl, she's all panicking, she's all screaming around, flying. Well, not really flying, she's just kind of doing all kinds of crazy nonsense. So maybe it's probably most likely she is possessed by like some kind of witch or whatnot. And then like people kept getting accused, and he realized like, well, hold on a second. If they don't confess, they're killed anyway. So it would seem like they're just confessing for the sake of confessing because they want to survive. And like this doesn't make a lot of sense. I can't. And this guy here, he invited me. Like he would gain the most if there was like a big witch hunt killing all of his enemies. And then he's all like, well, this is something's up here. And eventually he's like, listen, this is a bunch of nonsense. Like, witches, they may be a real thing. There probably are. Because, it's whatever year. So he probably thinks there's actual witches, just not in Salem, or none that are open in Salem. And so he's all like, yo, listen, guys, you can't go hanging everybody or jailing everybody because, more people died in jail than hangings in the Salem witch trials. And so he's like, yo, listen, you gotta not slow your roll there, bucko. And so they get the governor involved, and he's like, yo, listen, do what this guy says. And then and then John's, Hale's wife gets accused a couple months later. It's his second wife. So I guess he kind of got lucky there by saying, like, yo, listen, don't go jailing people because his own wife got accused. I imagined it was because he wasn't going along with the whole nonsense that was happening. But yeah, that all came from a bunch of people thinking something that wasn't true was true because their own biases and worldviews affect what was really natural phenomenon, or people just goofing around and taking it way too far, and just it's like a snowball effect. Just rolls down a hill, gathers more mass, and the next thing you know, your ski free dreams are all down the drain with a freaking Yeti or some nonsense like that. I don't know. So yeah, I think a movie about there is no monster, all just kind of crazy, or maybe like a movie where they're all crazy loons, and like halfway through the movie they realize that they're all crazy and there is no real monster. So like, but they essentially continue on normally, but they eventually like the monster gets defeated somehow. But then they like kind of realize that it actually was real, and that they just kind of ignored it. And they all have a bit of an existential crisis where, like, they thought they thought it was real, but then they realized it wasn't. But it actually turned out it was all along. That means that it could have gotten them at any time or something like that. I don't know. Essentially, they got lucky by ignoring the problem that went away. But that's something. Yeah, I think I'm done with this nonsense.